So life is too short to only have surface friendships, we believe. So this week we're challenging you to deepen those relationships by taking on the challenge ourselves. It was last spring when we introduced you to a new series called Take 5. We invited well-known women you know and love to take a turn in the hot seat, as we say. These women answered 5 questions on the spot, and we got to know them at a deeper level. Well, you loved it as much as we did, so we're bringing it back as a permanent fixture for season 17. And that starts today. We asked you, viewers, to submit questions that you could ask a good girlfriend to get to know them better and love them more. And today, our first Take 5 guest of the season will answer 5 of your questions on the spot. Morgan Jones-Pearson is the host of LDS Living's All In podcast, an interview-style show that has been downloaded more than 15 million times. She previously wrote for the Deseret News, and last year, Deseret Book published her first book, All In, exploring what it means to be all in the gospel of Jesus Christ. Morgan says she will never get enough dark chocolate, and she's happiest wearing sweatpants. Aren't we all? Love you even more for that. Morgan, good to see you.
Thank you, and congratulations, 17 seasons.
Can
That's
you believe
amazing.
that?
Well done.
I mean, I started when I was 12, as we like to say, right?
Yeah. Well,
we're doing a frantic catch-up because the last time you and I sat here and chatted, it was 2019.
That's right.
Pre-pandemic, right? A whole life ago.
Yes.
Your podcast at the time had been downloaded, I want to say, 1 to 2 million times. Now we're at 15 million. That's amazing. Congratulations to you. What do you think keeps people listening? I'm sure you consider that.
I think we try to keep it fresh. So we try to listen to the conversations that people are having, you know, whether it's around the dinner table or at church, and what are they talking about? And then you kind of work your way through all of those topics. So I feel like we're still, despite the fact that we're 200 episodes in, we're still trying to figure out what is it that people want to hear? What are they talking about? And if we can meet that need, then hopefully they'll keep listening.
Do you feel the need is changing a lot? I look at the pace of our world and I sometimes think that's part of the pursuit of freshness, is just how fast things are moving and how fast people are moving with it.
Absolutely. When I think the pandemic changed things a lot, it changed what people were interested in and where those needs lied. But I think definitely, I think you just have to, you kind of have to be able to roll with it.
Another change to celebrate. Last time we spoke, you were Morgan Jones. Now you're Morgan Jones-Pearson.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank
you got married in March.
Yes.
How's newlywed life?
It's so good. I keep telling people that I feel like marriage was undersold to me.
Oh, I love
because
that.
I feel like I wanted it, you know, but I'm glad that it was undersold because I wanted it bad enough, you know. But I just feel like everything in life is better and easier when you have somebody to share it with.
Amen.
So I'm a big fan.
And we need to hear that message more, because I think too often the narrative, as you probably heard and felt, was that it's hard and it's heavy and it's going to be a huge life change. But it's amazing, isn't it, when you find the right person?
Well, and I think to your point, the longer single, I think the more people don't want to tell you the good things. So it was almost like I stopped hearing the good things and I only heard the hard.
Because they knew that's something you wanted for yourself.
Right. And so I think, you know, I keep saying, you know, if you marry the right person, marriage, I think, is like heaven. I understand why if you married the wrong person, it would be hard.
The opposite,
But I'm really grateful to feel like I married a good one.
He's a cutie. Lucky him. And lucky you, it sounds like, too. This is our Take 5 jar.
Okay. Are we ready?
She's ready. She's ready. Viewers have sent in these questions. We have no idea. So grab one, give it to me.
Okay.
Kind of switching roles for you, because you usually ask the question.
I'm ready.
That's always funny. How do you keep the... transitions. How do you keep the connection with your spouse?
Oh, I think one thing that we've tried to be really intentional about is dinner time. So my husband has a really demanding job, and his job, they would feed him every meal there if he wanted, you know.
If he would stay.
Right, and he's had coworkers say, "You're never here at dinner time." Like, and he's like, "Well, I just go home and I eat dinner with my wife and then I log back on." And so that's been an important, like, that's where we talk and reconnect, and
I love that.
Good.
It's a good foundational, I think, strategy too, in that you hear all the time how good dinner is for kids, but those benefits have to extend to all relationships, you would think, right? So pre-family life, you're setting that tone for your family now, just the two of you. And you did long distance for a while, so you probably had to really work at that connection.
We did. And you know, it's interesting, long distance, I always say, was so good for us, because when you're together all the time, you're just hanging out. So you can watch a basketball game and you hardly talk, you know? And it's great. But when you're dating long distance, you have to talk. And we would talk for hours. And so I felt like we got to know each other a lot better. But to your point about dinner, I think that's one thing my husband's mom was really big on, was that all of her kids were going to be home for dinner time. And so I'm grateful to her, because I think that set a precedence for my husband to think, like, dinner time, you want to be home if you can.
That's fun to hear from a mom perspective, that carries on that legacy. All right, dip on in there.
All right.
That was a good one, and right out of our chat about getting married, too.
Yeah, perfect.
Who do you admire and why? Nice and vague. Who do you admire and why?
I admire a lot of people. I think that one person that I really admire would be, I don't know, lately, I don't know if it's the stuff with the Queen passing away, but I really admire Kate Middleton.
Hey.
I admire the way that she carries herself.
Yes.
I think she's not in an easy situation.
Agree.
And so I really respect her and the way that she carries herself and takes on something that a lot of people wouldn't sign up for.
And with the Queen's passing, we came to see a celebration and a rally, and I love this, around traditional values, even old-fashioned ways of living, and that was celebrated, right? That was honored during her passing, and as we look back on her life, and it seems Kate Middleton is someone who upholds that same.
Right, and I mean, we've seen it's not an easy thing.
No.
So.
I couldn't do it. Could you do it?
No.
Never. Never. What is one thing you want to be known for? That's a good question.
Kindness.
Kindness.
That's a lot easier than the last question. I feel like there are a lot of things, that we'd like to be known for and things that are admirable, but if you asked me, like, boil it down to one thing, it would be kindness. And I think that's because my mom is, like, the epitome of kindness, and I've always, like, admired that in her, and she's a lot better at it than I am, so it's something that I feel like I have to work at. But
that's an interesting thought. I would see you as a naturally kind person, and I actually like that line of thinking, in that we don't often explore the work that kindness can require. Like, we know it's a good thing, we know it's the desired goal, but it does take effort sometimes.
Right. I think I have a naturally critical eye, and so sometimes it means that in order to see the best in people, I have to try harder. And the critical eye works well in, like, a work setting, but when it comes to, like, other people, I think it's just important for me to focus on seeing the good rather than what could be improved upon.
I love that, Morgan. We're going to push pause and come back with our last, I think, 2 questions. This is going too fast. 2 more questions in our Take 5 series when we come back with Morgan Jones-Pearson. Welcome back to Studio 5. We are with Morgan Jones-Pearson, the host of LDS Living's All In podcast. We are asking her your connecting questions to get to know her on a deeper level as we kick off a week of Take 5. We've got 2 more questions, just a couple minutes left together.
Pick a good one.
You've done good. These are hard. These are big questions to answer on the spot. What fills your bucket, Morgan?
Good conversation. I love talking to people, which is why my job works out well.
Perfect.
And so that's good for me in and of itself. But I've noticed, so we live in a new area. We live in California, and just being there and making friends, like you're not digging deep in a new friendship. And so once you get to that point, it's like so refreshing. You're like, oh, wow, I'm actually having deep conversation. And for me, that's big.
What do you do when you're all talked out? You come home after a day of recording, let's say.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I go back and forth about whether I'm an extrovert or an introvert.
Me too.
Because I get done and I'm like, it's not like it's given me energy. It's like, oh, I need a rest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I said, I love to watch sports with my husband. We like to watch, shows together and just hang out and play sports. We like to go for runs. So
good conversation can't be replaced. All right, last one. Make it a good one. Make it a good one.
Big money, big money.
Big money. What little things do people do that mean the most to you?
I think that somebody expressing appreciation, whether it's like a thank you note or even just a text or, just letting you know that you are seen. It's amazing to me how far that goes. And it's funny, you probably understand this in our line of work. You get criticized, and a criticism feels so much weightier than all of those little things that people say that are positive. But all of those little positive things do add up, and they can combat kind of that scale. And so for me, those little things just mean so much, that people take the time to say thank you,
Yes.
to let you know that they see how hard you're working or how
Yes.
hard you're trying. And so for me, that goes a really long way.
Amen, sister. And I don't know if it's an age thing, but the older I get, the more I appreciate the little things, like
Yes.
the little things, because they do stack up like you talked about, and they do come to mean the very most. This was really delightful to have time to talk
you.
and to carve out some conversation with you. Where can people listen to your work?
They can find All In anywhere that they listen to their podcast. So anywhere, and then the book is at Deseret Book. So
We're proud of all you're doing. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
making time.
thank you.